Hey guys, welcome to Insecuritea, the official recap podcast for HBO series Insecure. I am Crissle.
And I'm Hey Fran. Hey.
And we are so excited to be back for season 2. Woo! We had so much fun recapping the first season with you guys. Make sure you check out our hashtag Insecuritea, follow along, and contribute to the conversation. But so, Fran, let's jump right into episode 2.
Let's do it. So much to talk about.
So we left Issa with the random, passionate little fuck session that she and Lawrence had.
Processing.
Yeah, a lot happened in those seconds.
Right.
So she is at home talking to Molly about it.
I was actually surprised. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen Molly at Issa's house before. They don't really go over to each other's apartments that much.
Yeah, and for some reason I felt like Issa was gonna keep that.
Oh no, she was there at the party. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, you thought Issa was going to keep that?
Yeah, under wraps a little bit, just because it was a little.
It's a little. Not shameful, but more like I don't want to have to. There's no good explanation for why I did this.
Exactly. Knowing he's in a relationship, which apparently everyone knew but her.
Well, so I also did not know that Lawrence was in a relationship because I just did not consider Tasha to be his girlfriend.
Right.
And so I was just like, whatever. I mean, first of all, if I had him first and then you started sleeping with him and I sleep with him again, that's not cheating. That is just me going back to my leftovers. That's all. That you're not buying 2 separate dinners. You're just resuming the dinner you've already started to eat. Period. So
it's just reheating.
So there's exactly, Fran. It is good for the environment. We're not wasting.
No, you didn't.
But also, I just didn't consider whatever. I just consider Tasha to be like a rebound type of situation.
Totally,
anyway.
100%.
So she's in her Harriet Tubman hoodie, which I absolutely love, and they're having a conversation about Molly's asking well, what type of fucking was it?
Right.
Was it
the makeup fuck?
Right, or was it the I don't ever want to talk to you again? And Issa doesn't know. She's like, maybe he just needs time to organize his feelings.
And she's like, do men do that? I was like, girl.
I love that. Molly was like, now, bitch, how would I know? Who has stayed around long enough for me to find out? Shut up. You make me sick.
Crissle.
No, that's what I got from that. And I'm proud of Molly for, taking steps to get her shit together.
Yes,
so
very proud.
I just found that one line incredibly hilarious. And
right.
Issa, I think it's clear that she's in that in-between phase where she knows that the relationship is over, technically, and she should be moving on, but she's still holding on to that hope of, maybe we can
and
work it out.
And I knew in last week's episode when she smirked at the end, I was like, Issa.
She was kind of happy.
I was like, no, it's nothing to smirk about because I knew that it was just confusion.
Yeah, she was getting her hopes up.
Yeah.
Like maybe a reconciliation is possible, but
and then he's sending her short text without punctuation. Molly, I love that she was reading into all of that.
Yeah, Molly's like,
because we do that.
I mean, that's true. But when Issa came on the read a few weeks ago, she mentioned that whole thing, they are deliberately picking up 3 months after the breakup because right around that time is when your friends are like,
over it, don't want to hear
shit
no
or get
more.
off the pot.
That's so real.
What has happened has, ended and you need to get over it. Like, come on, sis, you've been sad for a while. So I think Issa, that whole encounter between her and Lawrence just got her back into her feelings and maybe this will work out. And so,
you know what? Now you got me realizing. So Issa didn't tell Molly until 3 months later?
Issa, no, she didn't.
Oh, no, they just fucked. 3 months after they had broken up.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't realize which one was close to the schedule.
No, exactly. So Lawrence, meanwhile, while he is not responding to most of Issa's texts, is in the garage getting his fitness on.
Yo, Boogie.
Oh, my goodness.
Boogie with the No Way track while Lawrence was lifting his emotions away.
Yeah, that's right. Working it out and then typing out a text to Issa and then deleting it, which I have done so many times.
No scene was realer.
Nothing is realer than sitting there and being like, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't plan it. Something just happened. Da, da, da. And then you start to write out this essay and you're like, I'm not even about to do this.
Then it turns into the paragraph and you're like, I'm not sending this.
Right. When
you
have
like copy and cut. What is it?
Yeah,
Copy and cut.
The cut and paste?
Yeah.
When you have to do like ellipses and commas and hyphens, you are typing too much.
No.
And I can't do it. So I think around then was when I started to suspect, like, Lawrence knows that he still has feelings for Issa, but he's focused on moving on.
Right.
And not really on getting back into that. So, I don't know. Anything in particular?
About that scene?
Yeah. Did you have any special feelings?
I mean, I'll be honest, it was kind of cool to see that he was confused because I didn't know if in that last scene of last week's episode, remember I was saying on the podcast that I thought it was like an ego fuck. Like he was hurt and it was... Have you ever cheated on someone?
No,
before?
I haven't. Sorry. So you're going to have to explain it to me from your perspective.
When we get cheated on, and obviously this is a blanket statement because not everyone reacts the same way.
Right.
We get worried about the emotional aspect. Like, do you love her? Are you worried about her? But most of the times with men, they're like, did you come? Is this dick big? You know what I mean? Like, these are the questions. So when he fucked her like that...
Thank you for that, for that insight.
When he fucked her like that, I thought it was an ego thing.
Okay.
You know, that last kind of like, you kind of took my manhood, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
emasculated me and I'm going to fuck the shit out of you and never text you back.
Damn, Fran.
That's
look
how
at you.
I read it.
I mean, and you do a good job of reading into shit because you called the finale last season.
Right. But
very
that's
early.
why it made me happy to see him with his text being like, you know, having feelings and being
he's
open about that
with
it wasn't that he's like genuinely confused.
Yeah. And speaking of feelings, Molly is finally talking to her therapist.
Yes.
Very proud of her.
Finally opening up.
Yes, because something is really bothering her, the whole situation about being paid less at work. And so she is really going off. And thank God for this therapist. Whoever is writing these lines is doing an amazing job. But she mentions that Molly talks about what should be happening in her life a lot.
That one hit.
And it did, friend. I said, oh, pause. Oh, wait a minute.
Out here triggering everybody
Molly
watching.
said, wait a minute. Like, what? Hold on.
And then the therapist said that there's a medical term called magical thinking.
Yes.
Which, made me laugh because I was like, I live off of that. What do you, like, that's literally me every day.
It's like, this is what I exude. Magical thinking.
That's my existence.
Well, I mean, I do have specific life goals, and I think that if you work hard, then it's sure to yield certain results.
There's a medical term called magical thinking. When we believe what we want can influence the external world as opposed to accepting things as they are.
I'm confused. I don't see how me trying to break through at work connects to any of these things.
Listen, Molly, I know as Black women it can feel like there's a lot of things stacked against us. We feel invisible at work. We feel the need to have the perfect relationship. It's a lot. But if your shoulds didn't come to fruition, would you be open to your life looking a different way? It's just something for you to think about.
So it made me think, first of all, that a lot about that character, a lot about Molly's character is built on what she thinks she deserves versus what she actually receives or the treatment that she gets from men. And now this thing at work. And I think that was sort of like a proof to her that there's more than one crack in the armor. Like, yes, something is going on relationship-wise and dating-wise, but then something is going on at work that is putting you in an unfair position, but it's not at all your fault. It's not like, and so I think that's why it's easier for her to talk to the therapist, because it's when you're talking about relationships, you're like, oh, well, I did this, then this, and this. And the therapist can say, well, duh, bitch, you moved way too fast. Why are you so needy? Don't be, blowing niggas up. Right. Chill out. But something like this, she's like, I'm blameless. So I can just let it all out.
Right, because she's been putting in the hours, staying, at work late, overworking.
Yeah.
What was his name? Trevor or Travis?
Oh, yeah, Trevor. I think it was Trevor.
Right?
The white boy.
White boy number one. So I think that's why she's so frustrated, because she's been putting in the work.
Yeah, she has. And she does deserve. You've been there just as long as somebody else. You definitely deserve to be making the same amount of money. It's not like she's a trash lawyer or anything.
Right.
So I'm very excited for Molly, because I see this as someone who used to be kind of timid around therapists. And I'm like, once this door is open, her whole soul is about to open up.
Yeah, I remember in the first episode, they literally were staring at each other.
Yeah, she was just like, my life is perfect. I don't have nothing to talk about. What's up?
But you still see she's a little hesitant in the end when the therapist was like, same time next week. She's like, I'll call you. Like, she still has commitment issues with the therapy.
Right. And maybe
Baby
this
steps.
is right. And maybe this is challenging her in a way that feels uncomfortable right now.
Right.
But I really hope, I have my fingers crossed that she's going to want to come back and continue to work this out in therapy. So
yay, Molly.
Fingers crossed for Molly. Meanwhile, Issa and the girls are at, I guess Tiffany is an artist of some sort. Maybe she's a curator.
Yeah, it seemed like she's a curator at a gallery, like a museum.
Something like that. And Kelly is being, drunk and loud. God bless her. Talk about how the party was so dope. And Issa's like,
then
bitch.
She said it was lit because of the fire.
And she's cracking up and they're like, you need to drink less. That's what those faces said to me. Like, sis. So Kelly talks about, let's go out, to this bar, let's turn up. And Issa's like, oh, I'm really not doing that sort of thing anymore, right? And so everybody's like, well, bitch, all of a sudden you don't like to go out and drink? Fuck is this?
3 months later,
all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it comes out to being is that she is still really hopeful that she and Lawrence can work it out. And she doesn't want to do anything now that could jeopardize that.
Right, her chances of getting back in his good graces.
And I felt for her because I've been in that place before, but at the same time, like, I feel like if you have done somebody wrong and they want you back, they will be clear with that intention.
Right.
But if you have hurt someone in a really big way, you really have to give them their space to process the hurt that you did to them.
Right.
Before y'all can think about, getting back together. It's just not, no matter how much you might want it or how much you might regret what you did, you still did it. And the other person still has to live with that reality.
And no matter how much both of you might want it. That's the sad part.
Yeah, because you might really, as speaking as someone who has been cheated on before, just a little perspective. You might be, sitting up somewhere with your feelings hurt, but also still missing what you thought you had.
Of course.
Or the person you thought you knew.
Yeah.
Missing the relationship, the comfort, the familiarity, all of that is
real. They
real.
were together for 5 years. That's
See,
not, like she said, that's not something you
time.
just throw away.
But, I think once the bouch was gone, the relationship was gone. But she's really in her feelings. And then Kelly lets it drop that, if you worried about all that, that must mean he's breaking up with his girlfriend. And I was stunned. I'm like, girlfriend who?
I know. I was like, did I miss the memo?
I said, wait a minute now. I think some assumptions have been made.
And I was dead at her being like, well, Tiffany told me. And then Tiffany's like, well, my husband told me. I'm like, oh my God.
Here we go.
Not telephone over here.
Tiffany goes on and on about how, sometimes two people are just going through things and half of last year, such and such, her husband, whomever, slept on the couch and this sort of shit where it's like, okay, so maybe you don't have the picture perfect, light-skinned, smiling family that you wanted everybody to think that you had.
That part took me down though, because you saw how Tiffany was like trying to help her but not saying too much. Right. She's like, we're fine now though.
Right, we're fine now. So everybody's like, so what happened with you? We're fine. Now. Everything is so good now. So don't even worry about it. Let's get back to what matters.
You cheating.
So, but yeah, everybody is, it takes Molly literally 7 seconds to find this girl on social media.
That was nuts. She didn't even have a last name.
She was like, Tasha? No, it's so easy. All you have to do is go.
Found her. And then the funniest part, which I know we're all guilty of, when you find the other girl and then you guys start
and you
being
look through
like,
her pictures like,
ew, why should her emoji? Would she say her captions are
right?
All
why
in
she
emojis?
only speaking emoji? That's
Making
something
fun of
I
her
would
wig.
say. Well, and I would do that too if for no other reason than to make my friend feel better.
Feel better,
right? I'd be like, and she's ugly, girl. Bye. Look at who he with. If that's what he doing, girl, please.
But
you really in her sad over this nigga? She did
for a moment.
She tried
for a moment, for a scene,
for one scene,
and she was like, "I'm not going to be petty towards her." Because she doesn't deserve it.
That was, okay, very mature and responsible and
just
true.
like Kelly said, that is growth.
Yeah. With her little hand motion. You put on your big girl panties.
I always wonder how much of her lines are her pulling it up on the spot. Because she's
so good. She's so good. That actress is amazing.
It's like, you ever been burped?
Now, you ever been burped needs to be on like a shirt. But so Issa goes into the bathroom and
The rapping stuff.
She has, oh man, every rapping scene is life. But she has her fuck this nigga rap monologue.
Yep.
Like, bitch, you in here sad. And
What she say? She's a Lifetime movie about to bring the drama.
Yes.
Well, call me Lifetime, bitch, because I'm bringing the drama. Oh, he's with you now, girl? Then why he come running back? Oh, you putting it down? Then why my nanny hit snap? My new name, Alanis, because there's shit you ought to know. I'll do whatever to win. Fuck going high, I'm going low.
Hey, girl. I just want to check on you.
Pull that bitch up.
And Molly walks in like, I just wanted to check on you. She's like, pull that bitch up. Like, yeah, we about to drag her.
Molly's face, though, she did the nod like
yeah. She did. Like, that's my nigga.
No.
Oh, man. And I think this is what starts off her sort of internet stalking of Tasha that occurs throughout the episode, where she's like constantly checking this girl's Instagram.
And I kept thinking she was looking at her phone to wait on a text from Lawrence, and then she flipped it over and she's
was
already on Tasha's Instagram.
She's just trying to stop looking at it. Man, what is that about the ex-girlfriend focusing on the new piece of whatever?
Guilty. I've been there. And you can't help it. You looking on their Facebook, trying to catch his finger or his arm, his elbow in a
trying
picture.
to see hints of them being together.
Yeah, and then piecing, like, I know with me, I would try to piece things together, like timelines.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what she did.
Which is exactly what Issa did.
I totally understood. I've
little
done
bit,
that.
yeah.
We are like the FBI.
Yeah, she figured that out. It actually didn't even really take all that much. But before she did all that, she stops by Chad's house to see if Lawrence is there.
With her Sunday's best.
That nigga's so stupid. Do she always look like that? But she ends up having to have a conversation with Chad, God bless her heart, who is like...
That was such an awkward scene.
He's a dick on purpose.
Because he's kind of like, I know you come back.
Yeah.
Cheating ass.
No, he's out.
Okay.
You want me to tell him you came by?
No, I'll tell him myself. Bye.
And he doesn't even try to hide it.
Nope.
He's just like,
sipping his drink.
Neo opened a juice spot down the street. We both drink beet juice. Like,
Asking her,
being a dick.
Ask her if she used mane and tail because her edges look good.
What is that, mane and tail? It looks good. Actually, I did switch conditioners. But yeah, so he asks, do you want me to tell Lawrence you came by? And she said, no, I'll tell him, which I thought, yes, bitch.
Right?
I like that.
I don't need you to pass messages.
You don't know everything that happens over here. Whatever, nigga. Shut up. But meanwhile, Lawrence and I guess his girlfriend are sitting up watching the slave movie parody.
This movie...
I cannot wait to see what happens. Tasha's like, that little boy, he hears
typhoid.
everything. He can't leave the house.
Oregon Trail.
Like, no, don't give Tasha funny lines because then I'm going to like her. And I'm not trying to do that. He's totally checked out from the movie, though. And she's, trying to get him to talk. She invites him to her family barbecue. And he's like,
She's like, no pressure. I mean...
And then he just lets it out. I slept with my ex.
That blew me. I was like, all right.
I thought good for you. Yeah.
He didn't want to lie to her. Yeah. I mean, he already did, but he didn't want to continue it.
I mean.
But they weren't together.
I really don't. Right. And she mentioned that later. We weren't exclusive.
Right.
So really, I can sleep with whoever I want to. And I really don't have to tell you anything. But I guess if you have a guilty conscience about it, then it's best to just let it out. And he does.
Well, yeah. And I think he has... Part of his confusion, at least the way I read it, is that he knows he jumped into this shit way too soon.
Right.
He didn't have time to process.
He hasn't dealt with the breakup. I mean, you were together for 5 years and now you're dating somebody else after 3 months.
Off jump, that's...
Of course you're going to be emotionally wrapped up in this other person while you're trying to start something new with somebody else. It's not going to work out, or there's going to be issues. And shout out to Tasha for being like, I think you need to get out of my house.
Yes, I was so proud of her because I'm bad at that. So that was inspiring to me. I was like, oh my gosh, she was so clear cut. She just get the fuck out. That's it. No conversation about it. No well, how do you, when did it happen? And how, you start asking questions. At least I'm one of those people. Yeah. But she was like, get out. That's it.
Yeah, I'm more of a get out type. I'm more of a, you did what? Oh, what happened? You could just leave my house now. Okay. It was nice to know you. TTYL. I don't want to sit there and go through the emotions with you. Like, or I don't want to.
I need the play-by-play.
See, I don't. It's just gonna hurt more.
I need you to put it up on the Summer Jam screen.
No, I'm not trying to get my feelings hurt like that. So she kicks him out.
Mm-hmm.
Good for Tasha, I guess. Whatever. I'm begrudgingly trying not to call her Chase Ho anymore. So, and she never worked at Chase. But anyway, back at Issa's. Shout out to her and her Frank Ocean sticker on her phone.
So
it's
cute.
adorable.
What is it with her and Frank Ocean merch?
Right. Yes.
Pillow.
I love it. So she's brushing her teeth and methodically checking Tasha's Instagram.
While brushing your teeth, though.
Brushing your teeth?
I don't think I've ever been that bad. At least I'll wait till I finish brushing.
Do you do this in the shower also? I bet there are people who be like, let me just look at her Snapchat real quick before I soap up.
Not before I soap up.
Chill out, please.
Oh, no.
So
this show is putting so many of us on blast, Lord.
Oh, no. It's a little, the whole breakup process.
Too real.
It's too accurately depicted on this show because I have done things both of these characters are doing in the process of this breakup. So at work, Molly is talking to, I guess, one of the senior partners.
Oh, really? I thought
that was his assistant, Renee.
Yeah, okay.
Right. One of the, I could tell, first of all, by the size of his office. But then, she and Renee are like, hey, girl, da-da-da.
Which was cute because I think that's such office culture when they're only two black people. You guys spend 5 minutes complimenting each other every time you see each other.
Yeah, and black people are always the assistants. I was an executive assistant for years.
Right.
And anytime black execs or somebody who would be like Molly, black, but not in an assistant capacity would come up, they were always more friendly to me than white execs ever were. They were always like, what you doing, girl? How are you? And everybody knows getting in good with the exec is the key to having whatever you want. But she asks if, the guy will be at the hockey game. And she's like, I don't know. And so Molly's like, well,
you like hockey?
I do now. I will.
She looks at her like, okay.
She's like, I'm scared of you.
Agenda.
I said, this is so black. I'm scared of you is black as hell.
Loved it.
I just love this show so much. All those little just random moments of negrosity that they sprinkle in throughout every episode are everything. So while Molly is, game planning at work, because, I can see the vision here.
You see it unfolding.
You can't break into the boys club just by existing at work. White people always want you to come do activities with them.
So you have to do some recreational
So you're going to
hours.
have to go hang out with white people, pretend to care about hockey.
Lord.
But usually there's drinks and free food everywhere. So,
right.
But it's just the fact that you can't just go home and have wine and smoke weed and watch Scandal and go to bed. You have to go hang out with white people at work.
And it sucks that she's already working overtime. And
she's already doing the most.
On the weekends.
This is what you have to do as a black woman to even try to get them to see what you are saying. Right.
Yeah.
For you to even understand that, I'm really equal to everybody else here.
Right.
And actually smarter, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be here in the first place.
And then she's a woman and a black woman.
Right.
Yeah.
So at her job, Issa and Frida are meeting with the vice principal.
Vice Principal Gaines. And I was really excited at first because he's clearly a black cowboy. And I said, okay, Oklahoma representation. Hey.
I have grown up around black cowboys all my life.
Nice.
There's pictures of him, on horses. He's got a little horse figurine on his desk. And I'm thinking, this looks like every school I ever went to.
Until
he has a country ass twang and everything. And, Frida and Issa are asking him to get involved because otherwise y'all's gonna have to leave the school.
Right.
And he's like, sure, he's very busy. Clearly he's dealing with a lot, typing and that damn walkie-talkie. It was just so real because they really do use walkie-talkies. But so things seem to be going well, and then he talks about how overpopulated the school is and says something about maybe the only thing we can do is build the wall and make them pay for it,
and then cracks the fuck up
and then starts cackling. And at first I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, since when do black people make Trump jokes?
We had 2 ASPs depart already, and the music program has lost funding. What teacher did we have you paired with again?
Miss Alvarez.
Alvarez. Okay. Don't worry. I'll jump into it. We get this fixed. Sorry, things kind of fall through the cracks now, you know. Now that the school's so overpopulated. Might have to build a wall or something, having them pay for it. A wall.
Gaines? Anybody got gains?
Go gains?
We got mold.
Mold? Well, can't you just scrape it off? Oh, damn.
Did he just say build a... And then he left.
This is not really something.
And Frida was
so
stunned.
Frida was just frozen. And then of course he gets called out for the mold situation.
Talking
You can't
about
just scrape it off.
That is so public school. I can't take it.
And Fran was there. Get the apple cider vinegar. Just pour it on.
You just need vinegar.
Just spray it.
A little geranium oil.
See? And you be knowing.
Dead.
So yeah, Frida and Issa, I think Issa too was just like, wait a minute. Did that just happen?
Yeah, Issa looked like, oh no. But
Yeah.
Frida was like visibly
Frida was
affected.
shaking.
Yeah.
and yeah. So we leave that scene and go right back to Lawrence, who is with Chad looking at apartments, and Chad is very disappointed that Lawrence told Tasha about Issa. And he
called him John Legend, Lord.
I thought you was a pimp, but you back on your John Legend shit.
I was like, is John Legend
You
watching
old John
this?
Legend ass nigga. I'm like, if you listen to John Legend's earlier music, he actually talked about a lot of pimp and shit. He talked about cheating on these hoes, and you ought to know that I love you. It's just that my dick love everybody. But then, you know, I guess he met the woman who changed his life and fell in love, and now it's all these ballads and shit. I'm like,
Now
just give the man some time.
What'd he say? That's why you got a 2-bedroom. One for you to sleep
One
in
for
and
you and one for your
feelings.
feelings.
He's
I
Brian
did
McKnight.
laugh at that. I did laugh at
He is the king of the one-liners.
A room for your feelings had me crying.
You know I love
That's something I would say to somebody.
to me.
And one room for all your emotions. You could just pack them in there at night, Fran, and pick them up in the morning.
Oh, and can we say that apartment was so dope? I was like, I gotta get out of New York.
I'm
'Cause
like,
you know he's paying less than we
y'all
are.
have all this space?
He had a dining room, like an actual room.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Wait, I'm sorry. People can afford that? Where?
I'm like, and you know it's less than our rent. But anyways.
And then I feel like people in like southern states or places where the cost of living is not so high are like, that apartment wasn't shit. You could,
Right,
that
they're looking
apartment
at
would
us like,
fit in my
really,
house.
girl?
That's trash. Ain't even no 6-car garage. So it's all perspective. You know, from New York, I'm like, it
Man.
looks, wow, so you can move from room to room.
And it was already painted.
So there are multiple
The
rooms.
white trim. I was like, this is so nice.
Yeah, you have more than 2 doors in your apartment.
The
What's
French
going on?
doors,
It was, yeah.
all the natural light.
And the realtor was like, look, it is not going to be on the market long.
You know, she was giving him the like, listen, this is a gentrified ass
Right.
neighborhood.
That's what she was saying.
You get it
Lots
now
of
or
people
not.
are interested means I'm telling y'all because y'all are niggas and I want black people in this neighborhood. But you better put that application in because I can't
Today.
stop these white folks.
Right.
I can't stop them. Once they see it, they taking it. I did notice Chad was extra flirty and kind of touchy-feely
Yes.
with Ebony.
I couldn't make out what Lawrence said under his breath. Did he say something like, are you fucking her or something? I couldn't tell. I was trying to read
he
it.
definitely made some sort of comment
Of like, what's up with
this is
this?
definitely inappropriate, like obvious. Talking about, let me get a hug.
Engaged ass Chad.
Any nigga asking for a hug. But see, I knew Chad wasn't shit from the beginning. You could tell by the way Chad talked. Chad ain't shit. Chad is just getting married.
I think he's my favorite character. Even when they were going up the stairs, he was like, these railings.
I don't like these.
I don't like this.
It's like, I feel like Chad is trash, but he's like open about it. And he feels like
just
what he's
is who
doing
he
is like
is.
male empowerment. He feels like he's helping Lawrence to not
Right.
be such a soft ass nigga.
Right.
But he's actually just trash. Like you could use some empathy and some opening up and
Right.
some feelings,
Maybe
sir.
we'll see that later.
Maybe if his fiance or his wife leaves him, then
And
maybe
cheats on him.
Maybe. Oh God, no,
That would
that's
be
what
a
they
plot
can't
twist.
handle. That's what they can't handle. But I definitely picked up on like you really touchy and all this with this girl.
Talking about her smile, but we see Lawrence looking around and he sees that it's perfect. He's like, the view is nice, the apartment is beautiful, but he still seems hesitant.
He's kind of debating because once you sign this lease, that's it.
And at first, I honestly didn't pick up, but that's the New Yorker in me being like, "What are you? Can you get this apartment?" Like, but
No,
then I
in
was
New
like,
York-
"Oh wait, no, he's thinking about Issa." I like this is deeper than just real estate, friend.
Yeah, no.
Because
In New York,
it's
if
the
you
breakup, you know,
yeah, that's true.
that'll kind of
And,
like finalize him moving out for real, you know,
right.
And it being over.
That makes it like I don't even live here no more. Like official change of address forms
Oh my
and
God.
me and you are over. So meanwhile, Issa and Frida are back at East 41st Street and Frida is still devastated by
She
the
has
wall
not let
joke.
that go.
She was so upset that she went home and watched 13th and then tweeted Ava DuVernay about it.
But wait, can we go back to Issa saying that they should tell the kids that Keke Palmer is coming?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
She was like, we'll deal with the backlash later. I was like, wait, what?
No, the greatness of that line. I forgot almost immediately because Frida went into like super sensitive white girl
wasn't there
mode.
for it, yeah.
She was so, I mean, Frida's like, I was just thinking about the wall joke yesterday. And Issa's like, what? Oh, right. Yeah, no,
She's
that
like,
was fucked
"Girl,
up.
really?"
But I forgot about that, 30 minutes after we left. That's how I would have felt
Of
about it.
course.
Frida's like, I could not sleep. I went home and watched 13th.
And not, no, you didn't tweet. Ava,
And was so
though.
excited because she tweeted and she liked it. And they put in the DuVernay. Like maybe you didn't catch which Ava I was talking about. But to their surprise, there is a library full of kids waiting for them.
That was so cool.
And the new teacher is like, yeah, Vice Principal Gaines told me to come help you guys.
Whatever
Anything
you guys
you need. Right. Issa's like, do you have paper? And the
She's
woman's like,
it's a school.
So, I mean, I know schools
Yeah.
are underfunded, but paper we have.
That much we can do.
Right, she gave her that. How long has it been since you were in school? Face. Sis, are you dumb? So you're conflicted because on the one hand, wow, this vice principal said a really gross comment. But on the other, he came through with actually getting them the help and the support they needed.
Exactly.
So what do you
Which
do
I didn't
then?
expect. I thought he was totally full of shit. 'cause
Yeah,
he was
no,
so
I thought he was
distracted.
bullshitting,
I thought
right.
he was saying anything to get them off the,
I
out the office.
definitely thought he was bullshitting and was just super distracted and didn't have the time to be worried about all that. But he came through like
Yep,
pretty quickly.
A full class. That was dope.
So I said, I see what y'all are doing here.
Right.
Y'all are gonna make me feel a way about this. Cause you got me from the first place. He talks like all my uncles. So y'all got me in with that. And then the cowboy part, I'm like, man, I miss the rodeo so bad. New York don't
that's
have
so
the rodeo
dope.
like
No.
Uncle No.
No.
Oh, friend, one day you gotta
Maybe
go
we
to
have
a
like
rodeo.
no, we don't. I was gonna be like maybe a restaurant on 42nd Street or something.
Friend, if you think a black cowboy rodeo is anything like going to Times Square, anything at all, sis.
Like cosplay.
No. So speaking of things white people do, Molly is in the box that I'm sure
Yes.
the company rents out or owns or whatever for the hockey game. She's got her eyes on the man that she needs to talk to. She's
Right?
ready.
She's finesse.
She's
ready
focused.
to finesse.
Yes. And Molly, it's a skill that most of us have to use, but Molly is really good at just chatting up white people about nothing and making them feel comfortable. I am not
It's a
good
gift.
at that.
It's a gift.
I am best with white people when they know what to expect from me. When they know that I'm going to be like, so first of all, white privilege is bullshit and you benefit from it whether you want to admit it or not. That's when me and
You're
white
like,
people
that's my comfort zone.
Right. That's when I feel good talking to white people. When I'm like, confront your shit. But I'm not good at just talking to them about, Black Mirror or Game of Thrones.
Meanwhile, she's talking to them about Black Mirror, which I love. So I was like, what?
See, I have not
She
seen it,
done
but it
pulled
looks
that
creepy.
out of her ass just to.
But
fill up
white
the
people watch
time.
that show, right? And
I
you
love
make
it. It's
them
good.
feel comfortable. You do what you have to do. She kind of sidles up to kind of sidles up to the big boss, and they talking about lobster rolls and putting them in your pocket.
And his
she's
wife.
like, well, don't let your wife check my purse. Which I love because I did not know white people made take food home jokes.
Right.
I just thought white people left food everywhere. White people never get to go boxes.
Yeah, but later we see that he looks at her like, I mean, I didn't really mean it.
And she's like, I mean, obviously, did you think I really had a lobster roll in my
really think I was
fucking
gonna put that
purse?
in my
I'm an attorney. I'm an attorney at law.
Have some respect.
I went to school for a very long time.
Oh, Molly.
Meanwhile, Issa is still pressed over Tasha's Instagram, trying to read a book and still just on this girl's social media nonstop.
Yo, that's so real, though.
I have not done that. No, but I think
I have been there too many times. That's the sad part.
So I think when I was craziest in relationships, it was before social media, other than Facebook and MySpace, was like really a thing. I did all my wilding out on Black Planet and
God.
Downlink and MySpace.
And Mi Gente.
And I did, and Facebook in the very early days. But this new wave of Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Tumblr, all that, I've never been one to study anybody's.
You know what
Instagram
my name on
like
Black
that.
Planet was? It was like Bling Bling Booty or something.
Oh my God.
Like Booty Bling Bling or something like that.
I love this. Was it like, hey y'all, welcome to my Black Planet
And
page?
then when you got real cool, you knew how to like add things to it.
Oh, the glittery
so it would, like,
shit that would fall all over your page.
The little
and
hood cartoons with her.
The Boondocks. Everybody would take the Boondocks and dress them up in different outfits. Put Huey in a New York fitted. Put Jasmine in some Tims.
With some Tims and mine with sparkle.
I knew it. It's like, make sure you sign my G-spot before you leave. Niggas used to write all kind of wild, nasty shit.
You know, all the younger kids are like, what
is
the
a
fuck
guest
is
book?
A Black Planet.
Oh, you youngins. Just saying, back in the day. So I've never been one to stalk anybody's Instagram. That to me was just like, what is looking at her Instagram going to do?
I think it's more so the comparison.
Oh,
like, what does she have physically?
No.
Even reading her captions, you looking for typos, and you know what I mean? You're just trying to find anything to make you feel better. Like she don't even dress cute. She don't,
she clicks on
petty.
the pictures and she's
you're
like,
in a bad space, so you're just like petty about it.
I mean, I do know what that feels like. I guess it's just, I don't expect people to update their Instagram 4 times a day or anything like that. So it just seems like, why would you check it that often? But I guess some people do.
But that's because me and you don't update.
Oh, man, that's because I'm like,
if you were looking on my page,
you
would be. If it was Issa, she would have been the same picture for a month, just staring at it like, bitch. Can you post?
Like, does she know anybody? Does she date?
Does she go out? Shit.
I don't put people I date on Instagram very deliberately.
You never seen, and I've had like 3 long, like real ass relationships since I've been online, and will not. You can't even Google us.
Yes.
You can't. I would always tell them not to put my ass on their pages. No.
You know what? I felt the same way, and people really feel there's like pushback about that.
Of course.
Like you're denying me by not having, but like, no.
My last relationship, he found it so trifling. He was like, are you embarrassed of me? The
my ex said the same thing.
He was like, you don't want people to
you
know.
act like you're ashamed that we are together. And I was like, no, nigga, I just don't want the world in our business.
Because they're going to follow you.
Oh, exactly. And then when we break up, I do not need people.
And then I got to delete all our pictures.
I'm not doing that.
And start posting Tumblr quotes on Twitter. No.
I'll just be single forever. So Molly and Issa are back at the school, and they're so excited because one of the kids is like, see you tomorrow, which means like they actually are having a good time and they're going to come back.
They don't know about this life. She's like, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. And then they hear the vice principal tell a kid to speak English at school and say that Spanish shit for the bus.
Oh my God. Vice Principal Gaines.
So at that point, I was like, at first I thought, he's just country and he's making a joke and doesn't realize how bad it is.
But no.
But that is blatant. And so Frida is like, okay, my white woman sensitivities will not allow this to continue.
Okay, we at least have to put that in our notes for Joanne.
So she can see that and not all the good stuff? The kids have come 2 times in a row. already making progress.
Yeah, that's great, but we're just gonna go along with his kind of thinking?
Who cares what he thinks? We're the ones who have the kids after school, and we don't think like that, so...
Okay. I know that the oppressed cannot be the oppressor, obviously, but would it still be okay if he said those things if he was, white?
I mean, we're not gonna change him. Like, he is who he is.
So, are you saying that makes it okay?
I'm saying that I'm the one that's on the hook for this, and I'm gonna do what I have to do to make this work.
Frida feels too conflicted about this, and so she brings it up to Issa, and Issa surprises me with the way that she kind of plays it off.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too, that I can understand people have different levels of like how
what bothers you.
Yeah,
right.
I get that. But the fact that she just seemingly didn't
She was like, I'm not going to change him, so why even bother with it? And Frida hits her with the, okay, but if he was white though?
Which was a valid question.
It was. And she, again, a credit to the writers, because Frida's definitely that, I'm woke, but I know my place type of white person.
Right.
So she says, okay, I know the oppressed can never be the oppressor.
I was like, okay.
Very clear on that.
Someone's been reading their think
We're
pieces.
not about to do too much, but she's fair in what she's challenging Issa on, and Issa's just kind of doing the, oh girl, that old man.
Issa's like, listen, I'm in the middle of a breakup. Like, I'm not thinking
I'm dealing
about
with
games.
too much, and I need this to go well.
Right.
I think she really
She's
needs
like, I
something
need a win
to be.
right
yes.
now. Mm-hmm.
Issa needs a win, and so she's willing to overlook this terrible racism and xenophobia from, an administrator at this school. But Frida just walks off. She's disgusted, I guess.
And then Issa
just
gets
so sad.
a moment with him alone.
Yeah, that
And
does not
once
make
again,
it any better.
He calls Mexicans taco meat.
Oh my God,
and
yes.
cracks himself up.
Talking about how they need to, Issa thanks him for helping, to get the kids there and with the liaison. And then it occurs to me like, oh, he picked a black woman to do it because he felt like Miss Alvarez was a problem. And so now I'm seeing like, oh, it's all connected. He has a problem with Latino people. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of, I guess I wasn't expecting that from a black man, but anybody is capable. Right. So It threw me off, but Issa goes from, thank you so much for your help to having to hear things like, yeah, we have to stick together like the Jews and the Latinos do, and Mexicans are taking over, and this school used to be all black, and now it's taco meat brown. And I'm like, oh, no.
And then you hear him walk off telling someone to pull their pants up.
Yeah.
I was
so
okay.
I'm like, okay. Are we doing... we have some respectability politics going on, and then we have some just outright racism, and you should not be in charge of students. You should not be in charge of kids.
Especially a predominantly Latino high school.
And nigga, this is Los Angeles.
Hello?
What is your fucking problem?
God.
Do you know how much you sound like a white man right now? That's what I want to say. So it's just a mess, but I think you're right. Issa is right now, she's feeling pretty low.
Yeah, she needs something.
And she is willing to do whatever it takes to make this work out. Mm-hmm. So she's overlooking the shittiness of this vice principal. Molly is back at work. She sees the boss with, white man number 38.
Like, hey.
Who knows?
And he
right.
looked at her like, who are you again?
Yeah. She's like, huh? Yeah, trying to put herself in the conversation. They're talking about, what the fuck ever. And she's trying to insert herself into it. And they are just not... It's not like, hey, how are you? Some game last night. Yeah. She's over there trying to fix her coffee in the Keurig and making jokes about lobster rolls for breakfast. And he's like, oh, I didn't actually take that home. Like, you really must think I'm an idiot. I thought we were... So I'm clearly trying to joke with you and get in on this Boise banter that y'all have going on with each other, and you're just not letting me in. And I think she realizes in that scene, like, breaking into the boys club and getting in on this chummy thing. It's not even just come hang out with us. I really think it's I have an alliance with this young man because he looks like me, or, he looks like the people that I want to see succeed. And so it's just a natural thing between the two of them.
And it's a system.
Where they don't even think to include her. And girl, they didn't include Hannah.
Even the coworker's face. I don't know if you noticed while Molly was talking to the boss, he was kind of looking at her like,
Are you
Why
done?
are you interrupting our conversation? You know, like he was so annoyed.
And then once they like got done having to speak to her, they went right back to their own conversation
Like
and
she
walked
wasn't
off.
even there.
So breaking the ceiling is going to be harder than Molly thought it would be. Meanwhile, Lawrence is back on the air mattress in Chad's house.
Oh, is he? I thought he was in his new home. Oh, maybe I didn't.
Really?
I thought this was like his first night.
Oh, maybe.
in the new
I just saw air mattress and thought he was back at Chad's house. I figured he would sign the lease, but that maybe he wasn't. Maybe
Like,
he was just like, I got to do it right now. I can't stay in this nigga's house
Get out
one
of
more
here.
night. Meanwhile, Issa has graduated to stalking Tasha's Facebook and Twitter
my
and
God.
LinkedIn. I said, oh, this is bad.
Too telling, man. Too
So
telling.
she figures out Tasha's a bank teller. She drives to the bank, sees the Best Buy across the street, and makes the
that
connection.
was some FBI shit.
I mean,
The way she looked.
I'm proud of
She
her.
looked across the street like, Then looked across.
Okay, I see. And so I wonder if she thought maybe Lawrence was cheating because obviously when he was at Best Buy, they were together.
Right.
But more than that, she's been obsessed about Tasha, and so she fantasizes about walking in the bank and just punching her right in the fucking face. You got jalapeno popped, bitch!
Yeah, I screamed.
How is that not the best line? And then the white woman's having a fit. She's like, shut up, bitch!
But the way the white girl screamed took me down.
Because it was so extra. Because it was like, calm down. Nobody slapped the shit out of you. Great line.
Shit.
No. She
She's
comes
back in her car.
Yeah, she comes back to reality. And she is just sitting in this car outside this girl's job.
Fuming. Ooh, I know the feeling.
I do not.
Oh,
I do with Tasha. So here's the thing. I understand looking on her Instagram and being like, oh, she ugly, whatever. That bitch ain't got nothing on me. I do not understand going to her job.
Well, no. That's too far.
That is crazy. Why
Like,
are you sitting outside this girl's
My
job?
crazy is a little more reeled in.
Dial it down.
A little down.
bit. Roll
She's
it back.
at a 12. I'm like at an 8.
So she's still sitting in the car. Lawrence is walking. I guess he's at wherever he works.
Outside of his office
Yeah, it's like
building,
some sort of big kind of campus looking situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sees Molly. They have this really awkward hug and conversation. And shout out to Molly. We find out later on that this was all totally planned.
Fucking scheme.
But that's
bitch,
bitch, she did that. She did that. She
Not
made it
grabbing
seem
a
like
bagel and coffee front and like you've been there.
How are you?
I mean,
I know. Issa's still torn up.
and?
She feels terrible, Lawrence. She does. Issa cheated. But she's not a cheater. Come on, you know she still loves you. Do you hate her?
No, I don't.
Would you ever take her back?
And then we cut to her calling Issa like, yes, so about that.
about that. Right before Molly calls Issa, Tasha walks out of the bank and I can hear her talking. Anyway, so Issa spots her and then lets the seat down real fast.
But why was she still there?
I don't know.
Just
but
parked, sitting there?
why would you think Tasha knows what you look like?
And then slamming the chair back all hard like that.
I said, oh, she's in her feelings.
Security was like, ma'am,
You cannot sleep here.
like, what the fuck are you doing?
But Molly calls Issa and says, sorry, girl, Lawrence, he said he's moving on.
Issa,
He's
no.
done.
Just talk to Lawrence. I had to do like 5 fake walk-bys before he saw me.
Oh, thanks for going all the way over there for me.
Of course.
So, what did he say?
I'm sorry, Issa. Lawrence said that he's done. He found a new apartment. I'm so sorry. You want me to stop by later?
What? No, I'm fine.
I'm here if you need me, okay?
But she's not cool. She's
Burning.
It hurts. I mean, you sent your friend to find. Look, first of all, let's just look at the ridiculousness of where you are right now. You asked Molly to make up a lie about meeting with a client at the exact same place where Lawrence
my
works.
God,
And then she had
yo.
to wait for him to notice her because she couldn't be that obvious and just go to him and be like, will you take
While
yes or no?
you sit in the parking lot
Of
of the new
girlfriend's
he's dating's job. Like,
to do what, Issa?
This is rock bottom.
It is. This is rock bottom because look at the lengths you have gone to try to break up whatever it is he's doing now or to get that back for yourself. So it's all very sad, but Lawrence lets Issa know through Molly that it's over. It's not happening. Molly is at work late on Skype with Hannah in the Chicago office.
Yes.
You know, talking and all this and mentions that she would love the opportunity to, you know, do more work and have more experience with Hannah, you know,
and Hannah's down.
In different capacities. And Hannah is down. And I said, so I'm really glad that Molly is getting this at work. And I'm slightly surprised that a white woman was that open to it. But maybe in the field of law, it's like lady lawyers just got to stick together.
Right.
And so they're just like, you know, no matter what color you are or whatever's going on with your girl, like
we got
pussy power because these niggas is crazy. So they all just kind of band together.
Yeah, because at first she was kind of like she hesitated a little, but then she
was like, and then she said, you know what? Yeah, I have some cases and I could use your help.
She's like, if you're down to go between Chicago and Cali, yeah.
And I'm thinking, hell yes. First of all, that's perfect because you don't have to stay on the plane 6 hours to go to New York.
Right.
You're only going to Chicago.
Right.
And then you get to split up your time when you're getting bored in one city or you're in Chicago for a couple weeks. You can fuck around, have fun, do whatever you want to on these apps, and then go right back to LA and pretend none of that's going on. So I'm like, yeah, you know, you're single, you're in therapy, you're taking new moves with your career, doing something big. So I'm really proud of Molly. It looks like, you know, this is going to be a great positive thing for her.
Yeah, she looks super happy.
Yeah. Lawrence shows up at Tasha's house and apologizes again for sleeping with Issa. Apologizes unnecessarily, I might add. And she, you know, she does the whole, yeah, that's your ex. I get it. You know, we weren't exclusive, so it's whatever. You know, it happened. Fine.
And then she's like, you know, I have food cooking. I got to go back inside. I was like, yes, Tasha.
Yeah, I can't sit here and shoot the shit with you.
Stand out here with you, you know, but then.
So Lawrence turns and walks off and she breaks down.
She messed it up.
She said, you hungry?
Yo, for 2 seconds, I was so hyped because I admire women that are so clear cut and the way she was in that previous scene in the living room.
Yeah.
But now I guess she was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not letting this go.
I'm glad because I came really too close to cheering for Tasha during this episode. So if she would have really let Lawrence walk off, I would have had to really be a fan of hers.
Right.
And I didn't want to do that.
I would have been so impressed and proud. Like, this is beautiful. But she did what I would have done, which is ask him if he want to come inside.
Well, I hope she's sleeping with other people or something like that. I hope she's not getting emotionally invested in Lawrence.
It looks like she is.
I really hope she isn't.
Genuinely hurt.
See,
you know?
and that is
you're like ill feelings.
Why it hasn't?
No.
Well, not even just ill feelings, but y'all ain't been together that long. I mean, y'all been fucking around for 2 or 3 months.
But remember, she was chasing him. For a while.
And he ran straight to her vagina. He went straight for it. So, but see, that's another thing. I don't feel bad for this bitch. You went after him. See,
right.
I came so close.
You
pursued him, and then his girlfriend fucked up. Lucky for you. And he ran into your
And he told her he had a girlfriend, didn't he?
Yes, he had to tell her a couple of times, like, seriously, I have a damn girlfriend. He mentioned it to her more than once, and she still came after him. So I don't really feel bad that she got fake cheated on or whatever. I'm not thinking about Tasha.
I totally forgot about
Meanwhile, at home, Issa has accepted that Lawrence is moving on, and for the first time, she puts her clothes in that side of the closet.
And that shit looks empty as fuck.
I remember doing that after my last breakup. Yeah, and all his clothes are gone. And then I'm like, oh, wow, I don't need storage at all. I have so much space.
Especially in our New York ass apartment.
Right. I was like, wait, I have a whole, oh my God, no.
I have a whole drawer now.
I have so much. But it's a sad, it really hit me in the feelings to see that. And then she moves her pillow to the middle of the bed.
That one really hit me, the pillow one.
Because that's what I do. Oh. I did that.
You know, I still sleep on my side of the bed.
I
tried them. I know, right?
That's so sweet.
Oh, that's so sad. I try to put the pillow in the middle, and I still end up on the side.
Oh no, I have 4 pillows, and it used to be 2 on each side, and now just all 4 are kind of in the middle of the bed, and I just lay down like a princess.
You know what? I need to try that. I need to like condition myself.
Yeah, I just lay down like a starfish. Like I am relaxed and I feel great.
In my bed.
And I am going to sleep. I am taking up all of it. I can kick all I want to, and nobody is going to have an attitude. But it was sad to see. She pulls up an app. I guess she had been, talking to these dudes. She's been trying to date.
Yeah.
But now she's ready to start fucking around. She's
literally
back
she
to
texts
savage
him
life.
Like, you trying to fuck?
Want to fuck?
She's like, all this small talk, no need.
No need for all that. We don't need to try to get to know each other because that's not what I'm trying to do.
Right.
But yeah, Issa has accepted it, and I think what we're gonna see now is the 2 of them try to move on. So predictions for episode 3. Fran, what do you think?
Well, I saw Issa on The Breakfast Club a couple of weeks back, and she was saying that one of the themes that they're going to explore is when people go into the hoe phase.
Yes. I have been talking about how I want to have a hoe phase because I've never had one.
That's literally what she said. So
Issa's about to be my coach.
So I think that's what we're going to see.
What a time.
And she set the tone by hitting that dude up on the app, like, trying to fuck.
I am so excited.
And I think this is opening the doors for the hoe phase.
So I think what Lawrence is going to realize is that trying to start a new relationship while you still have so many complicated feelings for someone else is
not the move.
I feel like this is just going to crash and burn in a terrible way. And so for that reason, I'm kind of okay with him and Tasha being together because I still hold some animosity towards Tasha, probably for no good reason. But I just, she great.
I see it working.
Yeah.
I do.
He's not going to marry her. Oh God, what if he proposes to her?
This is my theory for this season. I think him and Tasha are going to work.
No.
And it's going to be terrible for Issa because she's going to be, going through her whole phase and dating and all these things. And he's going to actually be excelling. And we're going to kind of see 2 separate timelines of like what her actions brought to her life and what her actions brought to his life.
I think it's going to seem like they're good.
That could very well be.
And then it's just not going to be good
and
no
then
more.
He's going to be like, I'm going back to Issa.
Yeah. Ooh.
The last episode.
Do that to her. Yes. I think Molly is going to meet somebody in Chicago.
Me too.
And then have why not move? Mm-hmm. You can be a lawyer anywhere.
Yep.
And you found a man, which is what you've been waiting on.
I totally see that.
But what is life like without Molly and Issa? We need them together. So we'll see what happens this season and on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. Fran, any more notes from you before we go?
No, just make sure that you guys continue to use the hashtag Insecuritea.
Yes.
We love reading what you guys have to say. Yes. And of course, we'll be mentioning some of those on the next episode.
Yes. So don't forget also hashtag InsecureHBO. And don't forget, if you guys love Insecurity, you can hear me every week on The Read.
And you can listen to me every week on The Friend Zone.
Yay, Loudspeakers Network. I love when you do that. Insecurity is a Loudspeaker Studios production. Our producer is Matt Raz. Our editor is Ty Worley. Our social media coordinator is Barry.
And don't forget to follow Loudspeakers on social media. We're Ellison Podcasts on Twitter or Loudspeakers Network on Facebook and Instagram.